Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Brandon again. Today, I want to talk about why I don't mind investing more money in my own home gym, because it's an area of debate for a lot of people, especially whenever I do a equipment review or a home gym tour, or I do one of my builds that I've done through Rogue, Elite FTS, Craigslist even. I always get a lot of comments from people saying I spend too much money or you can get stuff cheaper. Not to mention I'm also part of a lot of online communities that talk about home gym use, so like on Reddit, Facebook, and also other people's YouTube channels that I frequent often. And I wanted to make this video only because I want to explain why, to me, it's not that big of a deal. Now, I must say that one of the reasons I'm able to buy a lot of the equipment that I'm able to afford is because on occasion through this channel, I take on sponsorships. So for instance, this video is sponsored by VitaGoods. You might remember their digital body analyzer. I've talked about it a lot and I've been using it for like 4 or 5 years now. And they've always been a big help to my channel and helping me fund some of my equipment that I put here in the basement. And this video is no different. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. Something I use every single day. It can track up to 8 users. So I use it, my wife uses it, even the little baby uses it on occasion, and it tracks obviously your weight, but also your bone density, muscle mass, water weight, and those things might not be 100% accurate, obviously. There's only so much you can measure through a scale, but you guys should know with any fitness journey, it's really about consistency. So setting a baseline and seeing how those numbers can change depending on if you gain weight or lose weight is really cool, and it's well designed, and it's a good value for the money, and I do appreciate them sponsoring this video. So if you want to check that out, it'll be linked in the description box below. You can use the code Campbell for 60% off. Again, it's highly recommended, and I've heard a lot of you say that you've bought it and used it and liked it, so that's always good to know also. Now, speaking of that, again, getting back to my own equipment, I see a lot of comments about pricing, and I think, first of all, it really needs to be said that a lot of this is going to be based off the individual, your own budget, and what you're trying to do. Personally, myself, budget was something that I took into account with the equipment that I wanted, meaning that I really wanted to get quality equipment in my home gym. So this isn't the first time I've had equipment in my house. I've had your basic bench sets that you used to get from like Sears or whatever it was back in the day, which just came with like a bench and your cement style weights. I've had other Olympic style stuff in my basement. You guys might remember my first channel. I did a beginner bodybuilder series that I did all at home with that basic setup. But for me personally, one of the things about having a home gym that's really motivating to get me down here and train each day is having really nice quality equipment. And to be honest, there's not a gym near me that offers the same level of quality that I have here in my home. So for instance, in order to go to a gym that has calibrated plates and some of the barbells that I have, it would be almost an hour and a half round trip drive to get there each day. Now, seeing that I train 4 times per week, you're looking at somewhere between 5 to 6 hours in the car, depending on traffic. Here in Southern Rhode Island, coming down from Providence, it can be tough in the summer because everyone's trying to come to the beach, which is near my house, which is also another perk of where I live. So you're talking 5 to 6 hours a week, and over the course of a year, that's like 9 or 10 days just spent in the car traveling to and from a gym to have access to the same equipment that I have in my home. Not to mention in a public gym, you're going to be competing for access with other gym users, so you might spend more time there or might not be able to actually use it when you go. And for me, at this point in my life, someone who works full-time, a real job at a desk, not YouTube, but does do YouTube on the side. This does take up some of my time. Not a ton, because I don't put a lot of effort into it, as you guys can probably tell. Who's married, who has a young infant at home, and also would like to have some aspect of a social life. I really can't put a price on my free time. It's really priceless. So if I can save 9 or 10 hours out of 9 or 10 days out of the year, that's huge for me. So I do not mind coming down to the basement to train because you can't put a price on convenience in that aspect. Also, because I've gone the extra mile and spent more money on the equipment that I really want to use, it's super motivating for me to come down here. I talk to a lot of people who say, you know what, I don't understand how you can do the home gym. I'm just not motivated. I need to go out to a commercial gym and do this or do that. Like I said, there's no commercial gym around me that has the same equipment that I do. So I am looking forward every day to coming down here because I get to use some of the best equipment in the world, and it's literally in my basement. I just have to go down a flight of stairs. So I've never had a motivation problem coming down here to train because, again, there's nowhere near me that has this kind of thing. Another thing I really want to talk about is, I understand wanting to save money or not overspend, but in some cases, you get what you pay for. So I usually like to talk in analogies a lot. I think that helps people sometimes grasp it a little bit better because me just saying it's my money, I do what I want to do with it on the internet doesn't go over very well. A lot of people want to share their opinion about how you should be spending your money. But let's talk about like tattoos, for example. You could very well go out and get a cheap tattoo, or you could go out and spend a ton of money on a tattoo. At the end of the day, you're still getting tattooed, but when you look at the quality with that, there's definitely a difference between the two. Now, in some cases with equipment, it's not as cut as dry. But we're talking about, let's say, like a landmine attachment that's one is $25 and one is $50. There might not be that much difference between it. But when you're talking about, let's say, like a barbell, going from a $200 barbell to a $300 barbell, you could see a ton of potential differences in performance and how that bar is actually constructed. And price goes just beyond the equipment itself, because when you're comparing some things like racks, for example, some people might not think that a rack is a rack is a rack. When you take a look at some of the other aspects that come into it that you're paying more for, it could be shipping, it could be customer service, it could be the warranty, it could just be the whole experience in general. That too is factored into the price. So for me, I'm not opposed to spending less money on certain things. So for example, if you follow me on Instagram, shameless plug, you will know that I just purchased a Titan H-PND. I think I got those letters right. I could be a little dyslexic, so excuse me if I'm saying that wrong. I'll correct it on the screen if so. But that's basically their reverse hyper. Now, they can't call it a reverse hyper because they would get sued for that, but I basically got a deal on that reverse hyper for brand new, shipped $433. To get the equivalent in a Rogue offering with shipping, it would cost me almost $1,100. So a humongous difference, almost a third of the price. Now, one of the reasons I went with this just isn't because of the price difference between the two, but because looking at reviews that I've seen from both Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, to my friend Michael Corey at Obtain Strength, who recently purchased one, to the feedback I've seen in some of the forums and online entities I've mentioned earlier, it's of an extremely high quality. And I don't have a problem with Titan necessarily. I've done a review on Titan racks before, on their monoliths, on all sorts of things, and I don't necessarily have a problem with Titan. A lot of people like to compare Rogue and Titan, and you have people that are diehard Rogue and anti-Titan and vice versa. For me, it's really a mix of both. Some stuff is really good, some stuff isn't so good. So on some pieces of equipment, when what you get and the experience you get really varies between people to a 50 percentage, some of the things I'm more hesitant on going Titan. I would rather spend more money on another brand, or vice versa for any more affordable brand. There's different pros and cons that I look at and that I weigh on. But at the end of the day, what I'm looking to do is spend the least amount of money for the highest quality, or for something that I know isn't going to break, isn't going to have an issue, is going to get delivered on time, and is going to perform to my expectations, where I'm not going to want to upgrade or get rid of it. So obviously this is going to vary, because a lot of people who want to train at a home gym, they just want to get the best bang for their buck. They don't want to spend any money. They want to buy a $100 barbell. They want to buy a $300 rack. They want to get used weights on Craigslist. You can do all that. You could build a great home gym for a lot less money. But for me, that's not the gym that I want. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Would you spend more money to get higher quality, or do you think Rogue and other brands like that are tremendously overpriced and you would rather just skimp on that aspect and get just the functionality behind it? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, thanks for watching, and stay big.